Hello and welcome to Tax Matters. TikTok. 3 months of 2021 gone. We wish all our viewers better luck in the months ahead. We do hope that those who have March 31st as deadline to file personal income tax returns and pay have done so. Today on Tax Matters, we will be sharing with you what transpired at the 147th meeting of the Joint Tax Board, which was hosted by Kaduna State in Kaduna, the state capital. What is the Joint Tax Board?
Joint Tax Board is the umbrella body of all the tax authorities in Nigeria, as created by Section 86 of the Personal Income Tax Act. Composition of its membership is the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the 36 states of the Federation. The head of the board is the chairman, who is also the chairman, the executive chairman of Federal Inland Revenue Service, the chairman of FRS board, Mohammed Nami, who has defeated the coronavirus in terms of revenue generation, because the revenue of FRS continue to meet its target despite the impact of the COVID-19.
The Joint Tax Board is a statutory body of tax administrators established by the Personal Income Tax Act of 2011 as amended to promote uniformity in the application of personal income tax and the incidences of tax on individuals across the Federation. During its quarterly meetings, the body decides on matters of procedures and interpretation of the Personal Income Tax Act with a view to achieving uniformity and conformity by various states. Therefore, it is safe to say that the board is the most important forum of tax administrators and the most relevant place to present, discuss, and amicably resolve critical matters of tax administration in Nigeria.
The 147th Joint Tax Board meeting began with a tour of projects executed by the Kaduna State government within Kaduna Metropolis. As you will see presently, Kaduna City is now a huge construction site with roads and bridges under construction everywhere you turn. The tour party was also taken on a tour of the iconic Murtala Mohammed Square, where the old is being given a massive makeover.
We deem it fit to bring you here so that you can appreciate how we utilize taxpayers' fund here in Kaduna, or how we utilize the taxes in funding the welfare of the citizens of Kaduna.
Yeah, Murtala Square is one of the largest sporting and recreation center in Kaduna. As you can see, this is Murtala Mohammed Square. It houses about 1,000 capacity individual for events. It was formerly an indoor sport hall, but we think that we should maximize the use and convert it to an event center, and also build another indoor sport hall right there to take off all the sports that are happening there up there. Within here also we have a boutique hotel. We realize that people come in here to recreate and then have fun. So sometimes they need to stay over. So we are doing a hotel to accommodate people.
A visibly impressed JTB secretary reacted this way.
We are really impressed with what we are seeing here today. With this kind of edifice here, it makes the tax collection project very, very easy when you point to the taxpayer that the money is at work here. And is an evidence of good utilization of the revenue of Kaduna State that has actually leaped from 11 billion in 2015 to 50 billion in 2020. It shows that the management is at top gear, ready to live further and bring in better projects.
President of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, CITN, who was part of the tour party, also expressed amazement at the massive turnaround going on.
It shows commitment by the government to make sure that once something is started, it is completed. I could see development. I could see it. And I'm happy that people are going to see this, not just this generation, it will be for the next generation. They will see what taxpayers' money, and it is good, because when taxpayers see what the money is being used for, they are encouraged to pay.
First of all, I have to commend His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, for a job well done. One of the basic things in tax administration is that every taxpayer wants to see what his tax is being used for. And it is evident, it is clearly evident, we've seen it here in Kaduna, and the governor is really doing well. So that is what we call seeing is believing. It's an adage that is usually said because if you pay your tax, you want to see it on ground. And we have exactly seen it here in Kaduna State. So we have to.
The next port of call to be visited was the old and famous Leventis roundabout, now being remodeled into an underpass.
Well, this is the third project site we are visiting today. This place used to be the Leventis roundabout, but because of the traffic gridlock we usually experience during festivities, especially Salah or Christmas. So the governor deems it fit to, reconstruct the place and make it an underpass so that it will be easier for the citizens to flow and to carry out their normal activities by the day.
Kaduna is a metropolitan city. It's a very busy town. And this really is the center of the town in terms of commercial activities. It's a hub, because behind us directly is a central market. And within, around the environment, are mostly the commercial area, the banks and other commercial areas. So it's a busy location, 24 hours within the busy periods. This is the dualization of Yakub Gowon Way. It leads down to the market. Here, the traffic, it used to be a roundabout, 11th roundabout they called it. And to be able to go through, you have a lot of traffic hub and inconveniences and things like that. So what we are doing here now is to do another pass. The Yakub Gowon Way is a less traffic density than the Ahmadu Bello Way. The Ahmadu Bello Way is highly dense. So we need the traffic to go straight, uninterrupted, so there will be a smooth, free flow. And then the traffic from Yakub Gowon Way that could go to the market and other parts of the town will also be uninterrupted. That's the purpose of this on the pass that is being done here.
Again, those on the tour, Chairman of State Revenue Authorities, expressed their views.
And for me, in the tax system, I have known that the only way Nigeria can develop is to go back to tax. I hope all of us that are here have filed our tax return. 31st March is the deadline. When we say this, we should only just go to encourage people to do tax. But of course, when you use tax to develop, it is a permanent development forever. Unfortunately, oil took us to where we are, but Nasir is bringing us back to the era of tax, and those of us in the tax system will know that it is our period coming. And we are all going to do, because a lot of people are asking us, we pay this tax, what do you do with it? We are only tax collectors. We cannot say what politicians to do with it. But we're happy to have a political leader that is leader as well and making our job very easy.
I'm really amazed. This is my 4th time in Kaduna. The last time I came here was, I think, 1999. I remember this road, the market somewhere down there. I still remember. And I'm really amazed by the level, by the improvements in infrastructure. Coming from the train station, by the Defense Academy, the new roads, buildings and everywhere. So I think it's a fantastic job. Well done. Clearly, we're seeing taxpayers' money at work here. And we admire the tax administration initiatives and reforms which the governor of Kaduna and the service is carrying out. So well done, Kaduna State. Great job.
Taxpayers' money in action, or like they say in Kaduna State, tax for service. There was a visit to the new Kaduna State Revenue House under renovation. The Chairman, Joint Tax Board Executive Chairman FRS, who led the project tour, gave his impression.
I must start by congratulating Kaduna State people for having a competent and and a very hardworking person like Malam Nasir El-Rufai. I've been living in Kaduna for 28 years. I'm surprised that to be able to locate here, I missed my road about 2-3 times. We're impressed with what we have seen. We're impressed and appreciating for even wanting to put the internal revenue, giving them a befitting accommodation. So putting them in the forefront to make sure that they have a conducive place for tax administration. We appreciate it for that. Getting money is one thing, and spending it for the good of people is another thing.
Welcome once again. We are telling you the story of the 147th Joint Tax Board meeting held in Kaduna between Wednesday 24th and Thursday 25th of March 2021. On Thursday morning, the meeting got underway. In his welcome address, Chairman Kaduna State Revenue Service, Dr. Zaid Abubakar, laid out the agenda of the 147th Joint Tax Board meeting.
The theme of this particular board meeting is loaded with matters of pressing importance for sustainability of revenue generation at both the national and subnational levels. The key areas of discussion of this meeting includes the development of roadmap for seamless implementation of revenue generation plan among states, action plan for automation and collaboration among various stakeholders that could include developing strategies to combat illicit financial flows, strategies and action plan for revenue-based digital service taxes, the DTS, provision of assistance for capacity building and taxpayer education. Therefore, I believe there is much to look forward to and too much to gain from this meeting for Kaduna State.
In his speech, Chairman Joint Tax Board Executive Chairman FRS Malam Muhammad Nami spoke on the imperatives of curbing tax evasion, even as he emphasized the need for taxpayer identification.
This meeting will be focusing on a key issue that is critical to our core mandate of revenue generation for our country. We are faced with the daunting challenge to find innovative and effective ways of preventing, dictating, remediating tax evasion, illicit financial flows, and loopholes that facilitated or that continue to facilitate aggressive tax avoidance. At the center of the answer to this challenge is data and tax intelligence to ensure that everyone pays their fair share in line with enabling legislation. To deliver on our core mandate of revenue generation, we must be innovative and employ the use of technology and tax intelligence to counter the alarming trend of tax evasion. It has been demonstrated worldwide that access to data and intelligence to determine accuracy of taxpayer information is key towards deriving voluntary compliance and minimizing tax evasion. At this juncture, it is proper to say that no country has been able to achieve a high level of tax compliance without having a robust system of personal identification. To this end, the Joint Tax Board would deliberate on the need for tax initiative to enable us establish areas of synergy within the tax administration, relevant agencies and organizations for revenue mobilization in our country. The NIN data is expected to be the most robust, accurate, and comprehensive database of current, potential, and future taxpayers who are of the interest to us as tax administrators. If properly implemented, it is expected that this initiative is capable of expanding Nigeria's tax net to cover at least 90% of all eligible taxable parcels. This is quite significant compared to the current estimate of less than 30% that are captured in tax debt. Furthermore, this has the prospect of increasing the country's tax to gross domestic product ratio from the current 6% to about 20% over the next 5 years.
In his keynote address, the chief host, Governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, painted a picture of the state of affairs in Kaduna before and now. It was revealing.
Mr. Chairman, when we came into office, we found a state that was largely dependent on federation account allocations. We visited some states to learn from them. We visited Lagos, Edo, and River states to see what they are doing that has made those states less dependent on federation account allocation than others. Of course, you can explain Lagos. It was the nation's capital, the industrial heartbeat of the country. It accounts for nearly 1/3 of Nigeria's economy. They have been lucky. But it was the singular efforts of the Lagos Internal Revenue Service in the last 20 years that has made Lagos only 20% dependent on federation account for its annual budget. So that became our target. We wanted as a state to get to a point that will not need to be attending federation account allocation meetings. Whatever they send, we'll say thank you. But we didn't need to attend. Lagos is in that unique position. I think they attend out of courtesy, not because they need the money. We learned a lot from Edo State, which was not a particularly advantaged state, but was raising significant internally generated revenues. Rivers was interesting, but again, it was explicable on the basis of the concentration of oil companies and ports and so on. We came back and enacted our tax codification and consolidation law, which brought all the taxes payable in Kaduna State into one law and one document, so that when a business comes to Kaduna, they don't need to read so many laws to know their tax burden. In one code, tax code, they could see all the taxes they are supposed to pay. We eliminated multiple taxation.
The audience listened with rapt attention. The 147th meeting of the Joint Tax Board was an eventful event, which time will not permit us to satisfactorily tell you in one episode. And so, next episode, the story continues. Do join us. In the meantime, let's serve you the communique of the meeting. As is customary, the 147th Joint Tax Board meeting was rounded off with a communique.
Okay, communique issued at the end of the 147th meeting of the Joint Tax Board, held on the 25th March 2021 at Hotel 17 Kaduna in Kaduna State. The theme of the meeting was Strategic Initiatives for Sustainable Revenue Generation, Prospects, Challenges, and Next Steps. The board deliberated on various issues and adopted the following resolutions. 1. That it is imperative for states to codify and harmonize their taxes and levies to ease tax compliance, eradicate multiplicity of taxes, promote ease of doing business, and attract more investment opportunities, which will in turn boost revenue generation. 2. That the Joint Tax Board, JTB, develops a work plan with specific tax responsibilities and timelines for the implementation of the Data for Tax Initiative, leveraging the use of technology and tax intelligence to counter tax evasion and aggressive tax avoidance by individuals, businesses, and public enterprises. 3. That the JTB engages with the executive governors of all states to support the automation of the tax processes in their states and to ensure that all state revenue authorities are integrated with the Joint Tax Board database before the end of the second quarter 2021. 4. That the JTB identifies all relevant data points, data owners, and key stakeholders, including government agencies, private sector organizations, and other institutions for collaboration on the Data for Tax initiative to link all key economic activities of individuals and businesses for tax administration. 5. That the envisaged database will provide reliable, easy to access information to determine the correctness of the information declared for tax purposes by all taxpayers. It is also expected to streamline various regulatory processes for businesses and individuals, leading to the increased administrative efficiency and ease of doing business. 6. That the proper implementation of the initiative is capable of expanding Nigeria's tax base to cover at least 90% of all eligible tax persons, with the prospect of increasing the country's tax to GDP ratio to about 20% over the next 5 years. 7. The JTB hereby invites all stakeholders to offer their support and collaboration for the effective implementation of the initiative, given its potential to be a win-win outcome for taxpayers, the business community, government, and the general public. Thank you.
There you are. Codify and harmonize taxes and levies to ease tax compliance. Eradicate multiple taxes. Promote ease of doing business and, above all, take Nigeria's tax to GDP ratio from 6% to 20% in the next 5 years. So much in one single meeting. Things are indeed looking up. We conclude this episode with a public notice from the Federal Inland Revenue Service clarifying the issue of installmental payment of taxes by companies. According to the FRS, Section 77, subsection 5 of the Companies Income Tax Act, Cap C21, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, as amended by Section 18 of the Finance Act 2019, states that every company shall make payment of taxes due on or before the due date of filing in one lump sum or in installments, provided that where the taxpayer pays in installments, the taxpayer shall first write with evidence of payments of the first installment and obtain the approval of the service to pay in such number of installments as may be approved by the service. And the final installment must be paid on or before the due date of filing. Any balance of taxes unpaid as at the due date shall attract interest and penalties as provided in the Act or any other relevant law for failure to pay on the due date. What this means is that any company that wishes to pay by installment must have applied in writing before the due date of filing, attaching evidence of full payment of tertiary education tax and the first installment of the company's income tax due. It is important to note that the last installment must be paid on or before the due date for filing tax returns. Otherwise, penalty and interest will be charged after the due date. Thank you for watching. Let's meet again next week on this same platform for another exciting episode of Tax Matters. Bye for now.